In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Run Checklist link feature. This Run Checklist link can be clicked from any location, so it could be in an email, in another application, or it can be embedded in another checklist, and essentially it will create a checklist for you once you click the link. In this example, we're going to have it embedded in Zendesk, in buttons in Zendesk, so you can click from Zendesk, it will create a ticket in Process Street, and then it will also pass through variables and information from the ticket in Zendesk, things like the ticket ID, the user information, and the ticket details into the form fields, into the checklist that you're creating. So in the first part, I'm going to show you a working example, and in the second part, I'm going to show you how to create the run link, and then how to use the URL Builder app in Zendesk to create the buttons with the Run Checklist link embedded for those buttons to fire. So if I jump into a ticket in Zendesk, see on the right hand side, these are the checklist buttons that we've created. In this example, we've got a billing inquiry. So JJ is just checking that he was charged on his card. As a support user of Zendesk, if I'm not sure how to do this, I can just click on the customer support procedures, which will open up a checklist which documents all the procedures that I need to follow to do my job correctly. And if I'm unsure on how to execute certain types of questions or procedures, it's a handy way for me to find out that information. You can see the checklist has been created. We also have some other options. You could have server maintenance checklist, server security checklist, client onboarding. They can all be fired and triggered from within Zendesk. So let's jump across to the checklist that's been created. I can go into the information. You can see that the requester email address has been passed in, the ticket ID, and also the ticket description itself. I've also passed through the ticket ID and the email address into the checklist user, or the checklist name. This is handy as checklist names are searchable in Process Street, so I can just search by ticket ID or the email address and I'll be able to find this ticket very easily. As an end user, I can come through here, I can just check off what I'm doing. Okay, this is a billing inquiry. Check these items off. Go down to billing. Can work out, okay, this is how I deal with this type of inquiry. I can check that off, and then I can also write comments. The comments are able to sync back to the ticket in Zendesk via a zap. So credit card was out of date, new credit card added. I click comment. This will sync back to the Zendesk ticket. So if I go back to Zendesk, we'll see the checklist URL that we saw earlier. So this is handy if I come back to the ticket at a later date. I can always check back on this link. You'll also notice each task that I checked was synced back by a zap as well. So it also gives me information on the tasks I checked, and then also the comment, which I have a little bit more information on this app, where I have the checklist name, the task name, and then the comment itself. Also, if I go back to Process Street, the nice thing about using Process Street for this example and other examples that you would leverage checklists for, you've got this overview feature. Here I have a list of all the tickets that were used this customer support procedure checklist. I have information on what types of tickets they looked up. In this example, there's a lot of, here also is the timestamp, there's a lot of information on, or lookups on billing questions. So this can kind of give me some nice information. Maybe I should do a bit more training with my staff on how to handle billing issues. But you got a full audit trail on everything that goes on in Process Street checklists, who checked it, and when they checked it. So this can be very powerful to get some really good insight into what's going on in your checklist and your procedures and how they're being managed. So the next part of this is I can show you how to create this. So if I go to the admin side of Zendesk, if you go into the marketplace, you can search for the URL Builder, and then you just install that app. You'll get this icon where you get to manage. We click in here, and we got the general page, then the app configuration page. Here's all the information or the JavaScript code needed to create the buttons, which looks quite complicated. If you jump to the install page, they give you example code. So you leave out the JavaScript part here. So I'll build a quick button now. So I'll just copy this and then I'll open up just Evernote, just so you can see what's going on and how to construct this JavaScript code. So I'm just going to go back into this template, and I'm going to create a run checklist link for this template. So I click on the run checklist link button. You can see it has the basic run checklist link, but I want to go a step further. I want to populate the form fields. You can see the 3 form fields that we saw earlier: the user email, the ID, and the ticket description. In this example, I'm just going to populate the checklist name just to keep it simple. And you can see up here, checklist name equals XXX has appeared. If you added more variables, they would just be tagged on to the end of the URL. So we're just going to copy this. I'm going to jump back into Evernote actually. And then we're going to highlight the area of the URL in the JavaScript example. So we're just going to change this. Make sure I've got it right. And then these XXX's, this is what you'll change for the variable name that you're passing in. So you can have, in the earlier example, I used the requester email and then also the ticket description. Which is here. In this example, I'm just going to pass in the ticket ID into the checklist name. So we just highlight the 3 X's, copy in the variable. This URL is created, and then the next thing you need to do is just change the first title to the name of the button. So I'll just call this demo checklist just for this example. And then if you wanted a second button, there's more text here that you can change. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. And now we've got 2 buttons created. One I didn't bother changing the URL. The other has the run checklist link that we created embedded in the URL. So I'm going to copy this. The full screen, go back to my configuration page. So I'm going to get rid of the buttons that you saw earlier. Just put in our new text. Simply click save. I can jump back to ticket. I think this is the one we were in earlier. I just need to do a little refresh here. You can see now we've got 2 different buttons. You can click on the demo checklist button. You can see it's passing through the ticket name into the ticket number into the checklist name. And it creates a checklist with the ticket ID passed into it. So I think that's a nice workflow that you can have between Zendesk and other applications that support custom external links like Salesforce as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the support or the sales team, where they'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you. Bye bye.